Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Stop! Mary Poppins
Is not
for sale. I won't have her turned into one of your silly cartoons.
Says the woman who sent a flying nanny with a talking umbrella to save the children.
You think Mary Poppins has come to save the children? Oh dear.
Saving Mr. Banksy's Colin Farrell gave a beautiful performance as the charming but troubled father of P.L. Travers, and we were lucky enough to catch up with Mr. Farrell himself, who shared some insights about his character. But how are you?
I'm well.
Did you just get over?
Got over day before yesterday and leaving in the morning, so quick visit. Yeah, it's weird coming home and just to do press.
Why?
Why is it weird?
Stay?
Because I had to go over to London and do more of the same.
Oh, okay.
So it's a bit of a small press tour and then New York for one night and that's it. But it's a little weird coming home to do press. It's gorgeous to come home, but just to do press is...
Yeah.
It just kind of objectifies the city a little bit.
Yeah,
you know?
I know.
It's strange.
And do you get to see the family when you're over?
I do. Had dinner last night with my brother and his husband and my sister and me and Danica and my publicist who's been with us for 10 years, so she's kind of like family. And I saw Rue last night. I popped over to the cafe about 12 last night for a cup of tea, and I'll try and see some a few of them, but most of them are busy doing their thing, and you know they haven't got the time to come into town. I haven't got the time to get out to them, so it's such a quick visit. But
does it feel like you're just like going through the list almost?
Well,
I have to see
I
people
just want to see, you know, as many as I can, but it's so fast. You know, had a nice walk on Sandymount Strand, and you know, ticking a few boxes.
Yeah. The last time I saw you was for Seven Psychopaths. So we went from, you know, graphic violence and existential questions about writing and religion to the story of Mary Poppins.
Seriously,
I mean, it's a natural progression.
Not as big as a leap as it would be on page, you know. It's always kind of similar questions that get asked in different forms, you know.
Yeah.
This was a sweet experience. I mean, it was such a sweet script.
Yeah.
Such a sweet script, so kind of filled with whimsical humour, but also kind of a really sweet sentimentality that wasn't over the top, wasn't manipulative, but very, when I read the script, I mean, I was very moved by it, and I saw the film, and thankfully I'm not in the film that much, so the experience wasn't ruined for me, so I could enjoy it a bit, and I just think it's a really beautiful film.
And what was it like for you? Because you were so removed from the other cast. I mean, because I was, you know, going, oh, he's working with Tom Hanks.
I know, everyone says, what's it like working with Tom Hanks and Emma Thompson and Paul Giamatti and stuff. I haven't done a lick with them. It was really cool. Not because I wasn't working with them. It was really cool because my part of the story was a film within the film. It felt like. So the whole shoot was 3 months, I think, and my part of it was 2 weeks, and they shot it in one block at the start of the film. So they got that out of the way, so it was like a 3-act play, start, middle, finish, and they shot it in chronological order, and they built this beautiful little house that's in the film. They built that, they put that up in like 3 weeks on top of a little red dust hill or yellow dust hill, and you know, dead grass kind of blowing in the thick, hot Californian wind. And we shot the whole thing there, and we felt very kind of insulated. There was no sign of anything temporary where they shot it. It was an hour and a half north of Los Angeles, and so we just felt very insulated, and you know, like we were afforded the opportunity to live in that time and tell that story. So it was really cool. It was just me and Ruth Wilson and our kids, and it was a really lovely pace. But I got to meet the others. I threw a little party at my house because I wanted to meet them, and I knew I wasn't going to get to. So, and Paul Giamatti came. Hank said he was stuck and couldn't because traffic was too bad. I don't know if I believe that. Yeah, exactly. But Emma Thompson came, and Bradley Whitford, and a few of the other actors. Yeah, it was cool. And we put on Mary Poppins, and we all watched. Yeah, it was fun. It was fun.
That's adorable.
Yeah, it was fun. It was good. I got some food in and put on Mary Poppins, and I felt like a bit of a knob, but.
No, but I love your story because I mean it is such a beautiful story, but it also takes the audience on kind of the same journey as Emma Thompson's character, because as she's remembering her father, and it's weird that you're playing Emma Thompson's father, but it's this idealized version and then this slow realization that he was like this deeply flawed character. Yeah,
cursed really. Cursed by an overwhelming presence of melancholy in his life, in his heart, and you know, the self-pity that often accompanies alcoholism, but even before that, you know, just kind of a broken man, just couldn't really make it, just couldn't make sense of it. And again, it was the early, you know, the story was set, our part of the story was set in the early years of the 20th century, so there wasn't support groups and AA, and there wasn't people talking on the radio and in print about mental and emotional health and stuff. So he was just somebody that was cursed with kind of a strong alcoholism and loved his family, loved it. This is the guy in the film, because the guy actually exists, and he's very hard. Travis Goff is very hard to find any information about, because he was just a working man and a father who died too young, and so in the film, as I found him, he was a beautiful father in many ways, but could only really exist as a child and in the world of imagination, which made him kind of lovely to be around for his kids, but at the same time couldn't keep a job, couldn't turn up. Yeah, kind of sad.
And he does say, like, there's this element in the film of like never lose that imagination, and he doesn't want his kids to grow up in very natural ways, doing chores and stuff.
Yeah.
And for you, for the character, was that trying to retain some sense of innocence for his kids because he knows that he's bringing a darkness into their home, or is it for him and his alcoholism that he's stunted?
I think it's a bit of both, to be honest with you. I think that's really astute. I think it's a bit of both. I think he is somebody who's never been able to apply himself to the world of grown-up responsibility and the systems that most modern societies, which is what he would have lived in at the time, exist in. The workplace, providing for a family, the responsibilities of sometimes having to do a job that one isn't getting a sense of satisfaction or any contentment from. And he was somebody that was that was quite in love with. He was known, Travis Goff, the bit that I could find out about him, was being in love with Celtic mythology and in love with Irish limericks and had a very kind of lyrical aspect to him. He was supposed to be a great storyteller and something of a bon vivant, but at the end of the day just couldn't actually apply himself to the day-to-day banalities of existing, of what it can be to provide for a family and have to have an air of solidity to your life, to his life. But I think some of it as well was kind of irresponsible, It was kind of trying to instill life lessons in his 7-year-old daughter that maybe she wasn't ready for, but at the same time being a lot of fun to be around and but not destructive. Like his behaviours and his malady didn't go outward in the most destructive ways. Not a violent man, not acerbic, not cruel in his intentions at all, but just heartbroken. And that being very painful to be around. I mean, he had such a huge effect on P.L. Travers as a child, and then I think that's one of the most beautiful things about the script was how it really says everything that you see and hear as a child really gets processed in a way that forms who you become as an adult, of course. And we all know that, it's very obvious, but to do it, to represent that in film in a way that's as smart and as sensitive as it is in this was really impressive.
And I know, like, even with Seven Psychopaths, like, we spoke before about you playing an alcoholic on film, and, you were saying at this stage in your life, you said it was a lot harder in Bruges than it is now, because it was closer. Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, absolutely. And in Bruges, I mean, that character had blood on his hands. I mean, he'd killed his child, and that was as much as the film is funny. It's hilarious. It's so playing that dude. He was so dark. He was so fucked up, and but I've been asked, because of whatever my own journey through the city streets of alcohol and drugs and stuff, is it easier to empathise with this character? It's kind of not really. I mean, you can't throw the baby out with the bathwater and stuff, so maybe I can empathise a little bit more. But if you walk into a room and there's 40 alcoholics there, there's 40 different stories, and you're, so you just take what's on the page, and
I think the thing that struck me about this film is because I remember you speaking about going to AA meetings, and you said, and in AA they have the idea of the higher power. And I remember you said really beautifully that you decided your son was going to be...
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, I wasn't willing to make the leap into, just because I'm here, I'm going to ascribe to all the beliefs that I'm being told will make me a better person or a sober person, or, so... But they did demand kind of that you had a higher power, something that was greater than yourself, something that was outside of yourself, that you could aspire to or align yourself philosophically or emotionally with. And And they were saying, you know, God is that obvious thing, and at that stage I was like, oh, whatever. So I made it James, which he very much is. You know, I look at him and I get a sense daily of the purity of that boy's heart and his journey and the level of kind of extreme kindness that emanates from him at every turn, and so it's, you know, to this day he could be construed as a higher power of sorts, yeah.
And that's what struck me about his character, is he wasn't able to make his children that, even though I think he desperately wanted to.
Yeah, no, absolutely, couldn't do it. I mean, it was so frustrating, just some indecipherable itch that he couldn't scratch, and just, you know, just a deep, I think some people are born with, you know, we come into the world, I think, with some things, and some people are born with a greater level of sadness than others, and this guy was born with a really deep level of sadness that resulted, as it often does, in moments of manic euphoria and highs, but then the accompanying crash was incredibly profound and extreme. I found him very sad. I mean, I found him very sad to play because, and yet I didn't bring him home. It was weird. It was kind of like I could do it, and then I did a thing a while ago called Miss Julie, that I shot up in Fermanagh with Jessica Chastain, and that was just, I mean, I brought that home. He wasn't an alcoholic I was playing, but the behaviour in the film and the level of brutality that was demonstrated from character to character was so extreme. And I found that really, this guy I found just sad when I was doing it, and there was moments before a couple of scenes, and you know, no matter how close you are to a story and a script, there's always, I think, some aspect of you, the watcher, that is a third eye, that is still can maintain some level of objectivity to the character of the story. And that guy, as me, looking at it, it was very, because I felt, you know, without being, without having, you know, this largesse, I'm representing so many dads in this.